like to work out in the weight room. If you can pick up, you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to fix it, and I learned that coach goes back to biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9 on your radio dial. The Martin Houston Show live fan page on Facebook, Martin Houston Live on YouTube, and at Martin Houston 35 on Twitter. We're live and local and ready to get things rolling on this Hump Day edition of the Martin Houston Show. Glad you're able to be with us on this beautiful day. It is Florida Gator Week, and of course, we want to talk about that. We want to get score predictions. We want to talk about the grades, where we feel Alabama needs to improve. What could Alabama do? They lose if Florida wins, if whichever way you want to take that. We can have that conversation. We can take it wherever you like to take it this morning on a Wild Card Wednesday. And of course, we will end today's program with Scotty Hollins, Executive Director of Blueprint Ministries, presented by Johnson and Marshall Dentistry. Excuse me, Johnson Marshall Dentistry. He will be joining us to give us the character champion talk this week, starting off with vision. So we're looking forward to that transition during that segment. It's going to be a great day, and want to remind you that this is a day that the Lord has made, so let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. Good morning, Joe. How you doing, sir?
Well, Martin, Michaela, and I are doing great this morning. Up and out, I'm ready to go.
Thank you guys. Yesterday, I had to travel out of town yesterday, and thanks for the whole crew and team for everything you guys do to make it possible for me to be able to take a day when I need to. And so, but glad to be back in the captain's seat today, and looking forward to a great week. You know, when you think about rivalries, where would you? How would you list the rivalry? It was easy when I was playing, of course. It was Auburn and Tennessee, and that was kind of the big two as far as the rivalry. And Auburn has kind of been that rivalry just because of location. Tennessee was a rivalry because of, Coach Bryant and Coach Nalen, General Nalen up in Tennessee. Who would you say is Alabama's biggest rivalry today? Because it for a while, I think we would all throw out LSU, but where do you think it falls today?
That's a difficult question. Right now, LSU still probably has a lot of. I know that they've been down last year and going into this year, but LSU is still pretty high on that list, in my opinion. Auburn probably number one. Auburn probably number one based on location, and if you look over the last, during Coach Saban's tenure, Auburn, I would, off the top of my head, say has the most wins. Auburn, I'd go Auburn, LSU, Tennessee, and then Ole Miss is in there. Ole Miss and Florida are in there. Georgia, they're all kind of in that range, in that secondary tier.
Yeah, and that's what you typically think. But are you surprised that it's not Florida more? And that's probably to part of Coach Saban's thing. You would think with the battles that Florida would probably rank in that list higher. Joe, when you think about it, who has kept Alabama probably from winning more titles, SEC and or national titles, than anybody in the SEC? Uh, over the last 30 years. I mean, you think about how many times, and I don't even know the number. that Alabama's gotten to the SEC championship game, but I think they've only played one or two other teams in the SEC championship game other than Florida. They played Georgia one year. And have they played anybody else, or have they always played against Florida in all the other trips? Because when you start thinking about it, the SEC championship, started off 1992, the big rival, with Spurrier and first few times Spurrier and Stallings showdowns, and then of course you go into Saban's early days of with the 2008 and Tebow and the crying and the next year. But you know, if we played them more consistently instead of every blue moon and didn't just play them if there was any regular season game, do you think that would have quickly jumped to the top? I mean, it's just like I said, you would think that just because of the times we've met them, Joe, in the past 30 years, it's usually been literally a championship on the line of some sort, with the exception of a couple times.
Alabama's 6-4 in SEC championship games against Florida. I agree with you, but you hit on it right there. It's the frequency. It's the fact that we're not playing regular season games against them that much. I mean, the last regular season game that we played against Florida was 2014. You can't have a real rivalry if you're not, if
Right.
if you're not playing people that consistently.
Yeah.
I think Florida would be higher on the list if we were playing them at a higher rate. All in all, we've only played what's that, 26-14. We're 26-14 over Florida all time. That's 40 games. That you got to build on that to make a deeper rivalry.
Yeah, and that's what's like I said, that's what's so interesting about it is 10 times uh in uh in what's that, 1/3 of the 92, almost, yeah, that'd be 1/3 of the SEC championship games have been 1/3 of them have been Alabama and Florida. So we have they should hate us, and I guess we could hate them just as much, being that we've won 6 of them, they've won 4 of them. That each one would have a different trophy case potentially if it wasn't for the other one. But that was just an interesting thought, because we always think about LSU and Auburn and whatever, but the reality of it is we've gotten through those guys a lot more times than not. And 40% of the time when we've gone against the Gators, we've dropped the game. So it was just, sometimes my brain just thinks of crazy stuff to think of. And maybe with the expansion of Texas and Oklahoma coming into the league, you hope that they change the scheduling model a little bit, Joe, because if not, think about how few times we've played Florida. It'll only get worse if they don't change the scheduling, method and model. So hopefully they will do that. Anyway, whether we play them often or not, Alabama at the beginning of the week, 15-point favorite, 16. And now going back the other way, Joe, when Ryan Fowler and I were on last night with Alabama Tradition, the score was going down to had dropped back down to 14. People not thinking that Alabama necessarily going to lose, but maybe not cover. And so I wonder if any of that concern is coming from the Alabama offense and what people picked up. Are they concerned with Alabama's offense? So rest of the program, we'll talk a little bit about where Alabama needs to improve, what areas they need to improve in, and what's your biggest concern with this Alabama football team? Is it leadership? Is it the O-line? Is it the running backs? Are you concerned any with the defense going in, which this being in my opinion, their first big challenge of the season. Is this defense, ready for the big league? We know that they've improved. We know that they seem to have everything together. Are you confident that Will Allen will play? And if Anderson will play, and if he doesn't, does that change how you feel about this defense's potential against the Florida Gators? Will Mullins have some tricks up his sleeve? So we'll talk about all of that. We're also still doing our score prediction contest. So want to invite you to give us your score prediction for Alabama versus Florida as they travel down to the swamp to play. We're looking for your score prediction. And once again, we're going to put up total yards for the Florida Gators, as the tiebreaker. So score prediction contest is up, and would love to hear from you on that. So give us a call, 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904, the Taco Casa hotline, open for business, or post your scores on Facebook, and we'll or on any of our chat capabilities on social media. Coming back, areas of improvement. Where do we need to go? Is it the offensive line? Is it the running backs? What's your concerns? Does your feelings about Alabama's ability to win and or cover, you can take it at either angle, change with the absence of Will Anderson? We'll have that conversation and more coming up next right here on the Martin Houston Show.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no active wrecks, but we do have a steady rain over the area, so allow a little extra travel time this morning. Traffic signals are out on Scotland and Hargrove, so use caution. Townsend Nissan is taking care of business with rebates up to $5,000 and finance rates as low as 0% up to 60 months. Go see them. I'm Captain Ray.
Brought to you by Dell. For your small business needs, call a Dell Technologies advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL. Don't miss a play at the Sportsbook at Pearl River Resort. Your front row seat to all the action. Place bets on all professional and most college sports at the counter, kiosk, or on your phone. Then catch the game on one of our 20 big screens from the comfort of the newly remodeled Timeout Lounge. Plus, the PRR Sports app gives you access to live, in-play sports betting. Sportsbook at Pearl River Resort. Be more than a fan. Be a player. Must be 21. Has the pandemic affected your business? Even with more and more customers going online in the past 5 years, online business has grown greatly due to the pandemic. Now more than ever, it's important to have a strong online presence so that customers can find your business and products easily. That's where Townsquare comes in to help. Go to mylocalcustomers.com for a free competitive analysis to see how your business stands up to the competition. And if you're one of the first to sign up, you'll get $500 in free advertising on this radio station. That's mylocalcustomers.com. Townsquare not only can help you find more local customers online, they'll also
But buying a home is different. You've got loan applications, pre-approvals, competing offers, the list goes on. That's where a Realtor comes in. Realtors have expertise and local knowledge to give you a competitive edge that a search bar just can't. And in today's market, an edge is what you need. So when you're ready to buy a home, the first thing to do is make sure you have an agent who's a Realtor. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Wet weather headlines are forecast today and tonight. Cloudy with occasional rain, maybe a thunderstorm in spots. The high today 76, the low tonight 67. Tomorrow mostly cloudy with a few passing rain showers likely. The high tomorrow afternoon at 80. I'm James Spann of the ABC 3240 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 73 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Scott Smith and Sophomart Design, doing business for 17 plus years, specializing in graphic design services, commercial printing, promotional products, advertising specialties, and so much more. Basically, any and everything you would need to advertise, promote, and grow your business. Through strong partnerships, strong customer service, and creative ideas, they'll help you market and grow your business. Give Scott a call at 205-292-4680 or email scottis@comcast.net and visit them online at sophmartdesign.com.
Interact with the Martin Houston Show by calling us at 205-342-9904 or tuning into the Martin Houston Show on Facebook.
All right, Martin, you're hot and ready now.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show. It's a Wednesday edition. Love to hear from you this morning. Give me your thoughts, your comments on the Alabama, what's needed to improve, a carryover from the previous quarter. In the first quarter, we were talking about why this game isn't more of a rivalry, really just a good matchup that is generally happening because of both teams being good. Have seen some memorable moments, and wanting to know from you before we move on from that, what's kind of your favorite memory from the Alabama-Florida matchup? Give me one or two, couple of your favorite memories from this matchup. I'd love to see what they are. I have an idea what some of the older hands will say, but we'll love to see what some of your memories are out there. And so give us a call, 205-342-9904 on the Taco Casa hotline, or post your most memorable moments from the Alabama-Florida matchup, which I could call it a rivalry game, but as Joe said, you can't play every blue moon, even if it is in championship play, and it become a rivalry. So we'll look for that. We're also looking for your score predictions this morning. You can give us that. Total offense for Florida is the tiebreaker, so give us a call there. Joe, there's a lot of good games. As we said, in the regular season, we've only played them a handful of times in the last 30 years, only 40 times total against the Gators, but 10 times in championship games. So a lot has been on the line. The majority of the times we've played them in the last 30 years. But there's been some memorable regular season games as well against the Florida Gators. What's your favorite moment or two? You may have a bunch in this Florida series.
Well, Martin, I'm actually going to just I'm going to make it not a good game. I'm going to go 2010, Alabama and Florida right here in Tuscaloosa.
Oh, man.
31-6. And what makes it memorable and special to me was that it really was the symbol. When Coach Saban arrived, Florida was the top program in the country.
Yeah.
And Florida, they were rocking and rolling. And we all remember losing to Tebow in 08, and we all remember the Tebow cried game in 09. But to me, winning in 2010 was the symbol that we had really dethroned them and really moved past them, because while beating Tebow, in 2009 was super special. I felt like that matchup in 2010 was a little bit billed as going to be a big game, and it was really one of the first times that Alabama started dominated another top 10 team, and I was in the stadium that day. It was just a lot of fun to really get over that hump.
Yeah, and as you stated, it symbolized really like the passing of the torch, because up until that point, they had won 2008, and then they had won. We won in 2009, and so coming forward now, who's gonna be the big dog? Regular season game. And of course, as you said, Alabama was able to win it and hadn't looked back since then, Joe, when you really think about it. But I have I have some good. I probably have good, bad, and ugly, Joe, when it comes to memories of the Florida series. For me, um, I remember in 1990. Oh my God, we were playing Florida, and it was Spurrier was the guy, and he had won the SEC championship, and he came to Bryant Denny, and we were playing really well on defense, and this is one of those that falls in the bad category. We have them backed up on the 1 yard line, Joe, and it's a really, I think it's 7-0 or something at that point, close game, and they throw a pass at the 1 yard line. The guy goes 99 yards on us. I mean, just like breaking your heart. So that was a bad. And I'll give a good, bad, and ugly real quick on in my era. And then the ugly, Joe, was Steve Spurrier in '91. Told America, he said out loud, Joe, out of his mouth, "We'll beat this Alabama team 35 points." He said, "We'll beat them by 35 points." They beat us 35-0. So that was the ugly. But that was also the good, Joe. That woke us up. And of course, my senior class went on to win the next 23 games. And before Alabama lost again after that 35-0 shellacking by Florida in Florida on television. Alabama won 28 games before they lost again. And then, of course, the good, you have to go to the 92 game, and CJ Watson saying the Langham pick in 92 was special. That's the catch, the interception, the play, or whatever you want to call it, that probably changed or saved the direction of college football. Had we lost that game, many people believe that we would have not gotten to the everybody wouldn't have necessarily adopted the uh, championship model that the SEC had rolled out, had the Florida Gators knocked off the Alabama Crimson Tide at that time, the SEC's only undefeated team. Of course, we won that game, went on to win a national title, and as I say, the rest is history, and the SEC have even done stories on that. So that's a good, bad, and ugly for mine. But there's a lot of other games I want to get to, but we have a caller that's waiting, so let's bring him in. Tom, you're in with the Martin Houston Show. What's on your mind, sir?
Hey, Mark, how are you this morning?
I'm doing well, and you, sir?
I'm good. Thanks for asking. Nothing will ever top the '92 Alabama football team, in my opinion. Nothing. That's the greatest thing of all time. Everybody on that team should be in Sports Hall of Fame. Every one of them. There's not been another team like that. And maybe the stats don't stack up and all that kind of stuff. But the '92 team, let me tell you, is the greatest team that's ever come through Alabama. They reversed the role, and they reversed the way things were going for Alabama football. They reversed that, started us down the path we're on now. So, and that I got to say that because I can't say enough good things about the '92 team. Every time you turn around, George T, Antonio, Jay Barker, yourself, and others, they would tell something that we didn't know about the '92 team, and you go, "Yep, I know." You didn't know that story, but you go, "Yep, that team was great." And I can't say that enough times. You hear what I'm saying this morning?
I hear it. I receive it, and I thank you. I think we hold a special place because had we not did what we did, there would have been a at least a 30-year window, and and if we don't have that era of our football, does Alabama go to wayside of maybe the also rans like Notre Dame is kind of in that window of everybody keep trying to make them great, but they just can't get over that hump. Right.
They don't stack up against Alabama, but early the Alabama was the one that kind of brought Southern football to the fore and kind of reversed history back in the day, in the 20s and so forth.
Correct.
The 92 did the same exact thing in their era. They started an era and introduced. Now, I shouldn't have got started on the 92 team because I don't know where to quit. And, because that's just how much affection I have for that year and that team and those players on that team. And I don't think anything will ever surpass the entertainment that team gave me and how much love I have for Alabama football. The 92 team, they just, amplified all that. So anyway, but I'm going to quit. I'll be here the rest of the hour. Tell everybody how great the 1992 football team was. And I won't be able to get off. So I'm going to get off and I'm going to say this. One of my favorite moments in the Alabama-Florida series, and like Joe said, it's a sporadic series. Unless we play the championship game, we don't hardly ever see them. But one of my favorites was Sean Alexander playing for Coach Mike Dubose. And nobody thought we had a chance when we went down to the swamp in '99.
Yeah.
And I know you remember that because I know you're close with Sean Alexander. And we went down there and beat them. And nobody really thought that Alabama team, could do that. But they underestimated Sean Alexander, Chris Samuels, and that group of people for their leadership. And they went down there and did it. Then we turned around and beat them the second time in the same year. And Spurrier was the head coach. And we beat them twice in 1 year, once in Florida and once in Atlanta. So that's kind of a special moment for me in this series.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would put that team and their accomplishments as a highlight in 1999. C.J. Watson said 99 may be my most special one. I was in the $1 Million Band, so I was at the game, on the field, during pregame and halftime, and that Freddie Millens TD was spectacular. But the reason that game, a lot of people forget, we won the SEC that year, and we were 10-3. But the Florida game came right after we had lost to La Tech in Birmingham. Two weeks later, we had beat Vanderbilt and Houston. Then we lost to La Tech week 3 in Birmingham, 29-28. Then we barely got past Arkansas, a 1-win touchdown, and no one gave Alabama a chance to go down to Gainesville to win that regular season game. And it was, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was, nobody gave, I didn't give us a chance. I didn't have a lot of faith in that coaching staff. I don't mean to be ugly, but I'm just being honest. I didn't know which way we were going. You know what I mean? We were kind of crazy. But Sean Alexander, Chris Samuels, they stepped up. They rescued that team. And they carried them to the SEC championship and won it. And I got to say, that's why that's special to me, because those two young men, what they did, and my admiration for them rescuing otherwise bad season.
Yeah, otherwise bad season and an otherwise really dismal era of Alabama football. Had we not got that, that would have been potentially, other than pre-Coach Bryant era, that would have been probably the low point of Alabama football when you take that entire decade or so, starting around when Dubose up until we got Saban. If we had not had that SEC championship and that team, it would have been some slim pickings and some rough football. Thanks, Tom. I'm sorry.
Hey, let me say this. Can I say one other thing? Then I promise. Have I ever told you how I feel about the 92 team team, Mark?
See, thanks. All right, coming back on the other side, if you have some thoughts and opinions on your favorite team, I hit good, bad, and ugly from the Saban era, but there's a couple other games that have been pretty special to me. I'll highlight those, talk about what Alabama needs. Curtis Lewis giving us some thoughts on where Alabama needs to improve. We can add that to the conversation as well. 205-342-9904. We love to hear from you. Alabama won. Refi, reduce, and ride. What are we talking about? A great refinance promotion going on for you right now. You can get in on it by being a part of the Alabama One team. Go to alabama1.org and you'll get all the details there. But we'll have interest rates as low as 1.99. You can take advantage of that. You can get up to $250 cash back and 60 days, no payment. So worst case, you're going to come off saving up to $250 in 60 days without paying, put that money in pocket, go ahead and get ready for Christmas. It is Alabama One Refi, Reduce, and Ride. And while you're there, check out alabama1insurance.com and we'll review your rates on your policies, reduce your premium, and you can relax knowing you are properly covered. That's Alabama One together.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no active wrecks, but we do have a steady rain over the area, so allow a little extra travel time this morning. Traffic signals are out on Scotland and Hargrove, so use caution. Townsend Nissan is taking care of business with rebates up to $5,000 and finance rates as low as 0% up to 60 months. Go see them. I'm Captain Ray.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors, Overflow Express Wash. Their mission is to provide great customer service with a showroom clean car and an exceptional customer service experience. They have the basic car wash that starts at $7, but you need to check out the premium wash packages, which start as low as $12 and go up to $20. They also have a membership wash club that you can get for starting at $23.99, going up to $39.99. In other words, just double the regular premium package, drop a penny, and you can be one of the great members of Overflow Express Wash. My family and I keep our cars looking good inside and out by using Overflow Express Wash. They're located on Skyland Boulevard, right next door to Alabama One, or you can find them online at overflowexpresswash.com. Andy Phillips and his team look forward to making you a part of their team.
If you were lied to when buying a timeshare and worn out, you need my help. Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started the timeshare cancellation industry by exposing the ugly truth about timeshare and giving folks the straight facts. I've been fighting the timeshare giants ever since, so no one knows this industry better than me and my team. Today, we have 383 employees and have saved our clients an average of $65,000 in lifetime payments. Imagine putting those timeshare dollars back in your pocket. If you were told at a timeshare presentation that this was available today and today only, that timeshare was a great investment, or your maintenance fees will never go up, call my office now. I guarantee you, we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-949-1441. 800-949-1441. 800-949-1441.
Churches has a deal made for you or all y'all. Choose your favorite tenders of classic style chicken and spicy or original with sides and biscuits for everyone. So swing by for Church's Feed 6 starting at $20 deals. Churches, bringing that down home flavor. Offer valid at participating location.
Nick Saban calls it the process. John Maxwell said that everything rises and falls on it. And Coach Wooden said it's what you learn after you think you know it all that makes the difference. What am I talking about? Leadership and personal development. Is your organization, your school, your church, your family, are they receiving the proper level of leadership development and personal development? If not, the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring can help you with that. We have our pep talks, which is a 1 to 1.5 hour lunch and learn, which we can customize to meet your needs, or we have some topics that we present that we know can help your organization. And if you're looking for one-on-one mentoring and coaching, we can also assist you with that. Visit peptalks35.com. That's peptalks35.com, or send an email to martin@martinhouston.org. That's the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show. It's a beautiful Wednesday morning. Coming up in the fourth quarter, we'll have Scotty Hollins, Executive Director of Blueprint Ministries, joining us, presented by Johnson and Marshall Dentistry. Looking and got a couple of the great moments of Alabama versus Florida. Joe, you have, or Michaela, you either one of you guys have any other memories you want to add before I hit a couple, and then we'll talk about just a couple things Alabama needs to improve?
I mean, my recent memory of it has to be John Mechie. I mean, that's kind of my recent favorite. I mean, the last few times they've played, it's really not been close. So that would have to be my favorite anyway.
Hey, Joe, Michaela, did that and pun intended? Did that turn the tide in that game? If he doesn't make that play, does that catapult Florida momentum jump on their side immediately, and we're chasing them for the rest of that game?
You know, that's a good question. That could have gone their way.
Yes.
I'm trying to think what would have happened. They probably would have scored because they kept scoring on our defense. It was very ugly for our defense, but you know, Mechie came a defensive back, and he's like, "Nope, we can't do this. Just knocked it out." So, but I mean, that has to be my favorite game because other than last year's championship game, it has not really been close, and that was, I have to admit, that was a really good game. No matter how much my heart and hands were sweating throughout the whole, let's say, 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah, and Joe, and I'll let you comment on that. But when you look at that, that's a 10 to 14 point swing, possibly. We don't go down and score like we ultimately did, and they potentially go down and score. So, I definitely think that was a game changing moment. Any comments on that, Joe?
Yeah, I think you and Michaela just nailed it. It was huge.
Yeah. And so when you look at it, I think another game-changing moment, of course, was if you look at the Florida 2009 SEC championship, Nick Saban getting his first championship. Think about how the Florida game, SEC championship, defines Coach Stallings, era in his career. Think about what that 2009 game meant to Saban and his career. Of course, so there's been some unbelievable monumental moments. Did Devontae Smith potentially lock up the Heisman Trophy? With his performance, he had been unbelievable. In that game. Najee Harris in that game. I mean, was that Najee's best game? Of his career. Unbelievable performance. Had we not been on the epic, typical. The epic team, Joe. 178 rushing yards, almost 70 yards receiving, 5 touchdowns. Najee Harris. I mean, did how great a performance he get lost because of just how good that offense was, in that game. Unbelievable performance.
Yeah, I mean the whole offense was insane all year long. I think they all helped each other out and had massive production.
Yeah. So anyway, Najee Harris on that particular game was unbelievable. And watching him, I have a friend of mine, coworker, that's a Florida fan. So she all she could talk about the next day was the Najee Harris performance. So unbelievable performances. Some of you may have other things. You can bring those back in later if you like. But just real quick, won't get deep into it. We can kick this can down the road till tomorrow and continue the conversation. But just some general areas that Alabama has to improve on is leadership and consistency. Nick Saban calls it consistency in performance. I saw we just had another call come in, so instead of me digging into that, I want to make sure I give time for George from Macon to get in on the conversation. I'll be here tomorrow, so we'll talk more about where Alabama needs to improve if we don't get to it this morning. George, you're in with the Martin Houston Show. What's on your mind, sir?
Hey, Martin. Yeah, I guess I'm kind of like everybody else. 1999. Chris Samuel and Sean Alexander. Not only did we beat them the first time, with overtime, but the second time we just totally wiped them out. Those would be my highlights. But of course, anytime you beat Florida is good. 1992 was fantastic. And in 2009, after 2008 crybaby, it was great. But I just have another question for you. I go way back, following Alabama. I guess farthest I can remember is 1960. And I remember, Gene Stallings was a fantastic coach, and everybody wanted Mike Dubose. And I know that he did do some things that was stupid. But why don't you think, because he was a fantastic defensive line coach, a good defensive coordinator, why do you not think that he was, and he did have 1999, but other than that, it was a debacle. Did you see him being a mess as far as a head coach? What's your thought when he was named head coach at Alabama?
Well, I mean, he was not just a good defensive line coach. I think he was the best defensive line coach in the country, without a doubt. Don't think he was bad in any other role. And what I think happened, a couple things, and I do think his ultimate demise did come from part of what happened with the affair. So, but backing up from that, I think he had wanted the job. He and had always dreamed of the job, and he got it. And so I think that part of the thing he wanted to do, when he was, one of his frustrations, and this is probably inside information here, but one of the things that frustrated him was Coach Stallings was a very, very controlling figure, meaning had his hands in everything, and I saw that style work for Coach Stallings. I think Coach Curry, on the other hand, was a very hands-off and coached his coaches, okay?
Right.
And I think Dubose came in and was frustrated with, he didn't want to be like Coach Stallings. He wanted to give his coaches room because he knew how good he was, right? The difference is, when you're a new leader, you have to establish your vision, your culture, your way of doing things. And Coach Dubose went out and hired several former head coaches, several strong personalities. And I think that there was a power struggle in terms of what was the culture of Alabama football between the head coach and some of his coaches. And I think the players were a little potentially divided, and this is just Martin assessing from a leadership standpoint, George. And I think when you watch that happen, he tried to let them have some freedom. Then he tried to bring it back in, okay? And I think he would have been successful in that until the affair came out, and then he lost his ability to lead his coaches. His players were divided. The team was divided, and a house divided will not stand. And I could be totally wrong. That's not something from what I think, but I know the style and the approach that was part of the challenge that anyone would have. Until you establish your vision, your culture, your way of doing things, you kind of have to be that guy that maybe micromanages. But then you can back off, but you can't back off till you establish your culture. And I think he struggled with that. I'm gonna have to go, but go ahead and I'll let you have the last thoughts.
Okay, one quick question, or not quick question, but one comment. You know, during that year, and one thing that I thought that Sean Alexander did that was fantastic, after we won the SEC championship, I remember he was being interviewed, and they were trying to bring up the affair, and he just stated, "God is good," and he kind of put the box in that question, and I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah, and I will say this: Coach Dubose was a friend before that. He and I became even closer friends after the affair, and I had opportunities to go and do some Bible study and devotion with him there at his office, and that was a seeing a mistake and really bad. But I think it re-energized him for why he got into coaching, and I think it still pays dividends to this day. Unfortunately, it didn't work out as far as being the head coach for Alabama, but a lot of young men have benefited because he accepted what happened and changed and became a better man for it. So that's the power of forgiveness, and I thank God that He forgives us, and we can walk in forgiveness with each other. Thanks, George. Have a good one. Speaking of forgiveness, coming up on the other side, we'll have Scotty Hollins talking to us about champions of character, and he'll be with us when we come back on the other side, the Johnson Marshall Dentistry Christian Moment of the Week.
100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, we got a wreck on 2059 eastbound near exit 89 at Mercedes with delays. Traffic signals still out on Skyland and Hargrove. Just take it easy. If you see conditions, give us a call. Townsend Nissan is taking care of business with rebates up to $5,000 and finance rates as low as 0%. Check them out. You'll love it. I'm Captain Ray.
Good Wednesday morning. Stillman College announced Tuesday evening that all in-person campus operations will be suspended due to a need for heightened COVID-19 protocols. Stillman President Cynthia Warwick addressed the Stillman community in a news release, stating that the move is necessary in order to maintain the campus safety as the school moves into a new testing regimen. All classes will be conducted virtually through Google Meet through September the 26th. Click TuscaloosaThread.com for more news. I'm Don Hartley.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about Tuscaloosa Custom Carving. If you're looking for a way to add value to your home, make your flower beds pop, make your landscaping stand out from your neighbors, then Tuscaloosa Custom Carving can help you do just that. They have numerous styles, but they feature the Moroccan Stone Curb series, which includes 4 great styles and unlimited color choices. That's Tuscaloosa Custom Carving. They are the one that can help you stand out from your neighbors. Tuscaloosa Custom Carving, 205-331-6823. You may also find yourself with the need for a custom size stone or custom shaped stone. Then Tuscaloosa Custom Carving can help with that as well. Paul Fuller and his team are waiting on your call right now for that free quote. And if you tell them that Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show told you to stop by, you'll get a big discount. So call Tuscaloosa Custom Carving at 205-331-6823 or visit them online at Tuscaloosa Custom Carving, LLC.
Indeed helps you hire great people fast. Indeed delivers 4 times more hires than all other job sites combined, according to Talent Nest. Visit Indeed.com/credit. Has the pandemic affected your business? Even with more and more customers going online in the past 5 years, online business has grown greatly due to the pandemic. Now more than ever, it's important to have a strong online presence so that customers can find your business and products easily. That's where Townsquare comes in to help. Go to mylocalcustomers.com for a free competitive analysis to see how your business stands up to the competition. And if you're one of the first to sign up, you'll get $500 in free free advertising on this radio station. That's mylocalcustomers.com. Townsquare not only can help you find more local customers online, they'll also help you grow your business to a new level. With premium website services that get you new leads every day and no contracts to sign, there's no better time to join. Not only that, Townsquare also has a dedicated marketing specialist who will be with you every step of the way, making changes that will benefit you and especially your business. It's fast, easy, and you can cancel your subscription at any time. So hurry to mylocalcustomers.com and get your $500 in free advertising today.
The sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team. The Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Right now.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show. It is Wednesday morning, which means that it's the start of the fourth quarter, which means it's time for the Johnson Marshall Dentistry Christian Moment of the Week with Scotty Hollins, Executive Director of Blueprint Ministries. Thanks to Johnson Marshall Dentistry. Go check them out at TuscaloosaDentist.com. That's TuscaloosaDentist.com. Good morning, Scotty. How you doing, sir?
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good.
I am doing fantastic and excited to join you again.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll kick the can over the wall to you, and we're going to start the discussion around characters of champion. And this week will be a little different, but we'll get everything flowing smoothly as we move forward. But I want to let you kind of set it up and what we have going on and what we'll be doing over the next few weeks.
Absolutely. Well, I am so excited to finally get started with our Champions of Character for this week. For this season. And so we will be normally what you'll do is you'll hear me focus on the character quality. We will do that this morning. We will celebrate, and I'll share kids from our Tuscaloosa City schools, middle schools, and high schools who have been chosen as champions of character for this specific character quality each week. So today, our character quality is vision. We will have those kids will be in the paper on Saturday, but we will actually have those names in for you guys next Wednesday, and then we'll actually share with you the names for the second character quality as well. So that's kind of where we are. Just getting started, but I can't wait to really jump in. So today, what I'll do and what I do on this show during this season is I will share kind of the spiritual side of this character quality. And today's character quality is vision. All right, so I want to share a verse that communicates vision to me, my favorite verse on vision. And so you'll hear my favorite verse on the specific character quality. Again, as I speak to the kids, it's more character-based. But for my man Martin, we're going to go to the Bible, right, Martin?
Right.
So what we're going to do this morning is look at vision in Matthew 4, 19 and 20. One of my favorite verses of vision. People probably wouldn't associate this passage with vision, but if you really look at it, it is all about vision. Jesus is recruiting his team. You guys have heard me share this passage before, but not in this context. Jesus is recruiting his team, and he says, listen, guys, he's so funny, Martin. You'll get a kick out of this as a preacher. He's recruiting Peter and Andrew, right? Think about that pair, right?
Yeah.
And so, but think about this. So Andrew was kind of quiet. They're brothers. Peter was just outspoken, speak first, think second. Anyway, so he's recruiting these guys, and he says, listen, guys, come follow me. If you come follow me, I'll make you fishers of men, okay? And so when we think about vision, here's what vision is. Vision is a visionary. They know the way. They know where they're going. Like, that has to be clear. If you don't know where you're going, then you don't have vision, right? But a visionary knows the way, but they don't just know the way, they go the way. Like, so they do what they're supposed to do, right? And then they don't just know the way and go the way, they show the way. So those three things, when you think about being a visionary, and here Jesus is. He's saying, hey, if you come follow me, I will make you fishers of men. Let me break it down for you here. So he says, he knows the way. He says, if you come follow me, I'll make you fishers of men. Jesus knew that, listen, there was no plan B to get the gospel out. And the gospel was obviously the fact that Jesus was going to live a perfect life, down the cross for our sins, so that all who place their faith alone in Christ alone can be forgiven for their sins. And so Jesus is saying, there's no plan B, you're plan A, so I need to train you to get the message out. So you're going to be my fishers of men. You're going to take the message to the world. He says, but so that's where we're going, guys. You are the next wave, if you will. Yeah, I like that next wave. You see what I did there? And so you are the next wave, and you're going to be fishers of men. That's where we're going, right? But then he says, hey, come follow me. That's how we're going to get there. In other words, I'm going to show you the way. And guess what? I'm showing you the way because I'm going the way. I am the example. He says, if you come follow me, I'll make you fishers of men. I'll take you to where I want you to be. The reality is, guys, everybody's following somebody, and that somebody is making them something, right? So I want to challenge each one of us to be intentional about who you want to be, and then follow someone like that. And again, I'll tell you, I don't think you'll find anybody better to follow than Jesus, who knows the way, who went the way, and who showed us the way.
That is awesome. And, it's kind of interesting. We take a lot of these things, but character or spiritual, they all apply to our daily life, and you can't do life, in my opinion, without them. And that's one of the things that makes Alabama football great. Coach Saban always talks about be a leader that other people can follow, and if you're that type of leader, then of course championships happen. And of course, the greatest leader of all time, in my opinion, is Jesus Christ. So you want to be a champion in life, follow the champion of life, and that's Jesus Christ, because he has a vision of not just where he wants to take you, but how to take you there. So thanks, Scotty. Tell the listeners where they can find you, sir.
Absolutely. You can go to www.blueprinttuscaloosa.com. You can send me a message there. It comes straight to my email.
All right, guys. That's Scotty Hollins, Johnson & Marshall Dentistry, Christian Moment of the Week, Executive Director of Blueprint Ministries. Next week, we'll give you those names of those kids who are the characters of Champion for Vision, and we'll move forward from there. Thanks, Scotty. We'll catch up with you next week.
Thank you.
All right. Remember this: trust in the Lord always. Lean not your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct you or lead you on the right path. Follow his vision for you. Thanks, and have a blessed day, guys. Roll Tide.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Have a good one, Joe. Bye.